Welcome back everybody to World of Warships. My name as always is Maxwell, and today I'm going to give you some gameplay from the St. Louis. Unfortunately, I'm sorry that I don't have any more keys to give away. The EU team hasn't handed any more keys out to community contributors as of yet. Trust me, as soon as I have keys available, you guys will be among the first to know, and I'll get some handed out, as I want as many people as possible playing this game because it is awesome. It really is. Not to make you feel bad for not being able to play it, but it's pretty damn awesome. So, this game's a little bit slow to get started, so I thought we'd just have a bit of a ramble before we get into the actual gameplay. I have been playing a lot less of this than I would have liked to. I'd love to be able to just sort of sit and play this all day, every day, but those of you who followed me for a while know that I've also got a bar to run, so I don't really have time to play anywhere near as much World of Warships as I really want to. So, because of that, I'm still stuck at Tier 4. Should be moving up to Tier 5 pretty soon, but at the moment just stuck on the Tier 4. So I've been playing a lot of the Phoenix. I wanted to try and play some aircraft carriers so I can bring you some videos from them, but to be honest, it's not me. I can't play the aircraft carrier. It's way too much like artillery with a few extra buttons for my liking, so I just find it really, really difficult to get into and really, really difficult to play. So, apologies for that. I mean, I might bring you a video anyway, so you know what it's like playing playing as artillery. Now, for this game, my idea had been to come straight through the middle and then cover to the right-hand side, and then help that cruiser, but with 4 ships appearing right in that little sort of pathway between the islands, I decided to cut right instead and line them up along my left-hand broadside. Unfortunately, that does kind of mean I'm leaving our cruiser there out to dry and kind of out to die, but I don't want to be everybody's second target, because once they deal with him, and it's going to be me that they're going to turn their attention to. I mean, he's dead already. He's taken a salvo of torpedoes, and he's absolutely toast. So I'm cutting to the right in an effort to try and get some shots on this cruiser here. And anybody who's seen any St. Louis gameplay before, or indeed played the St. Louis, knows what this ship is capable of when it unloads a full broadside. Our destroyer here is trying to pound this guy down, and I'm just trying to get a little bit extra speed coaxed out of this thing so I can get around the island in time to land a shot. But as you see, he dies just as I come into the correct angle. So I'm not able to get any shots on him whatsoever. I was going to switch to armor-piercing shells there, but decided to stick with high explosive just because there's a couple of destroyers around here. And I think, as you may see later on, that high explosive round just absolutely wreck destroyers. You see, I'm going to unleash a salvo at this guy there. I hit him and do more than half of his hit points with a single salvo. Do have to be careful that he's going to unleash some torpedoes, and he is trying to hide in his smoke, and that smoke is very, very effective. So I'm turning sort of getting the rear of my ship on just to throw off his torpedo salvo. Make myself as small a target as possible. Just changing direction, because obviously he gets a little prediction marker of where he needs to fire at me. Now that is a good salvo. That one is basically coming directly at me. So if I continue going in the direction that I am, which is left, I'm going to take that full salvo in the face. So I've got to turn to the opposite direction. Still using high explosive shells here, which is a little bit of a mistake. I probably should have switched to AP. I do manage to dodge this second torpedo salvo, and then the game really slows down again. I think the thinking in my head here was that I'll get a couple of critical hits on this guy, possibly set him on fire, and then I'll switch up to AP rounds, but he takes a couple of big hits from torpedoes there, and he goes down to low hit points. The downside to this ship, the St. Louis, although it does have a lot of guns, they are very, very short-ranged compared to some of its counterparts. Like the Phoenix has a range of about 13.5, almost 14 kilometers. This thing's effective range is only about 10 kilometers, so you really need to get in close if you're going to want to land any shots with it. As you see, I'm having a terrible time trying to hit this guy, as he is coming directly towards me and then changing direction got to pay attention and not hit the island. I do manage to get a good hit on him there for about 2,000 damage with this gun. That is a good amount of damage as well. That's not. I'm facing front on, so I'm not too worried about his shots. He's going to fall pretty damn soon. He's dueling with somebody else around there. Probably another cruiser and a destroyer. So this is where the game really slows down for us. It's all even at the moment, except we've lost most of our destroyers and they've lost a lot of their cruisers. So my plan is just to kind of cover the centre here. The whole sort of left-hand flank there is just completely crumbled. We've got no ships there. They've got no ships there. All the fighting appears to be on the right-hand side. There is somebody in the fog of war there, firing off torpedoes at me. Luckily for me, they are far enough away that they just run out of steam before landing smack in the middle of my hull. I'm just trying to work out whereabouts this guy was for the angle that the torpedoes came in. I think I got it probably completely wrong there. Now, I don't want to head straight in one direction for too long. There he is. There's the destroyer popped up on my minimap, and I have no idea. I just didn't notice at all. That's going to be a running theme in this this match. Later on, I completely miss a destroyer and get... I pay the price for it, as you're going to see. Now, he sets off his smoke. I wait a little bit and switch to high explosive rounds. Because, as you saw earlier, high explosive rounds just absolutely wreck destroyers. But what I'm going to have to be doing here is changing direction quite a lot, because I want to try and throw off his torpedoes. Try and predict when these torpedoes are going to be fired and then change direction, because you don't want to continuously change direction. Otherwise, you are going to end up running into the torpedoes. If you change right and change left and change right and change left, eventually all you're going to do is overall go in a straight line, and you're still going to get hit with torpedoes. So I figure he's probably dropped his torpedoes about then, so I straighten up. Again, he is well hidden in that smoke, and for me to go after him would just be a death sentence. So I kind of just leave it to our destroyer to take care of, because most of our guys need help on the right-hand flank. So I just decided to kind of abandon that and just let our destroyer do the work, because, like I said, I don't want to get embroiled in that fight. There he is. He's making a run for it. I don't think I'm going to be able to land these predictive shots, because he is turning. These destroyers are so hard to hit at range. I mean, when you're close up, you can absolutely wreck them, but at range like this, it's so hard to hit a destroyer. As you see here, find another cruiser. I'm pretty sure he's on full health. He is, but I'm on almost full health as well, so it's going to be a fairly even fight. I think he's tier 3 as well. I'm not 100% sure, but immediately switch up to armor-piercing rounds. He's getting the better of me at the moment, but then his big mistake here is he comes head-on for some reason. I think people think that makes you a harder target against guns, but it just doesn't, in my experience. It makes you a harder target to torpedoes, but as you saw there, I landed all my shots and did about 4,500 points of damage in a single hit. And as you see, when he turns broadside like this, I start doing a lot less damage to him, as you see. As you see, there are only 1,400 and 500, so only 2,000 damage. So, turning head-on with someone isn't necessarily the best option. Just have a little bit of luck there to make sure I don't crash into an island. Seems to be a running theme with me, is crashing. Slow my speed down, and then manage to get 3 massive hits on his citadel for about 10,000 points of damage. And I mean, that's just GG for him. It's game over. He's out of there. Just absolutely smoke him. And that's absolutely what the St. Louis is good at, is just getting alongside somebody in broadside position and just absolutely tearing them to shreds, just smoking them completely. Now I want to head over and give our battleship a hand. As you see, it's myself, a battleship, and we have a destroyer. That change of speed there kind of saved my life, as you saw those torpedoes flash in front of me. So heading down to half speed rather than sticking on full probably saved my life. Now, I see our battleship embroiled in a fight with their battleship, so I'm going to try and come around the side of this island and come at the battleship from the rear. Unfortunately, I'm just so far away, but I think our battleship should have the best of that. As you see, he does. He manages to take out the enemy battleship. My idea is still, I'm going to come up and play rear guard for this battleship and try and sort of fend off their destroyer from attacking our battleship. Unfortunately, the Achilles heel of the St. Louis is its range, and I'm nowhere near in range to land any shots on anybody, so I'm going to have to sort of make a play to come around this hill here. Well, I say hill, it's more of an island. I'm going to make a play to come around this island here. And again, this is another point where the game slows down. So World of Warships is full of this, where you have little bursts of action, and it's all hands on deck battle stations, and then you get these moments of calm. There's a battleship in these moments of calm. What you can do is you can hit that repair button and regain some of your hit points. Obviously, cruisers don't have that ability, but cruisers do have faster firing guns and the speed. Now, it seems like all of their ships are concentrated on this right hand side now, apart from maybe their destroyer, which we're not sure where he's gone now. He's playing a very good game of cat and mouse. I'm just seeing if I'm in range for anybody, and I'm just not, because St. Louis just isn't in range to hit things. So the idea is just to track back towards our base, because, well, originally it was I wanted to defend the rear of the battleship as he made a tactical withdrawal, but now I'm going to have to go to base and try and decap. Now, I come around the right hand side of this island here and probably should have headed straight up the centre, but obviously hindsight being 2020. I know it's that destroyer, so I switched to high explosive ammunition. My thought is he could be tucked in around the back of this island, right in close. So if I go up the middle, he's going to be there to hit me. But he's not. He's right up in the back corner there. Now, probably... Now, if I'd had a little bit more range, these shots would have landed perfectly. As it was, they fall a little bit short. Now, I possibly should have cut left there anyway, but I figure that I probably didn't have the turning circle to do it. So I'm just going to come in, try and get some shots on the base. Now, our destroyer is just too far away. He's absolutely miles away. He's not going to be able to do anything about it. Our battleship fires way too slowly and is being totally harassed by aircraft at the moment. So really, this is all down to me. See, look at that. A little bit more range and that would have burst him like a balloon. Now, he's going for our carrier, which is sort of good for me, because it means that he's ignoring me and that he can't hit me. But he's launched off torpedoes now, so he's probably now paying attention to me. And he launches off his smoke, and the base capture's about almost 2/3 done, and I can't see where he is at all. Our battleship's still being harassed. My plan is just to let off as many shots as possible into the smoke whilst steaming towards him. Now, I want to sort of angle slightly to the left so that I can get more guns pointed in that direction, but I also don't want to angle too much to the left because I want to be going directly in the direction where I think he's going to be. Base capture definitely 2/3 gone now, and I'm just firing randomly into this smoke because my guns reload every 7 seconds or so. 7.5 seconds. Now, he's made a run for it. Like I said, there's nobody else here to do anything about this, so it's all on me. And as you can see, he straightens up and makes a turn, and that's going to be his fatal mistake. If he'd continued going in one direction, he probably would have survived. As it was, he made a turn, and I can just absolutely rake him with high explosive shells. And this is going to be all she wrote for him. Unfortunately for me, he did launch off a salvo of torpedoes, but I managed to dodge the first one. But almost certainly he's got a second one coming in because he changed direction. If I hadn't have scooted so far to the right, I wouldn't have been hit by any of those. As it was, I get hit by one torpedo. And I think out of 2 full salvos and all of the salvos that I got fired at earlier on in the game, I think getting hit by 1 torpedo so far in the whole battle is pretty good going. Now, if you have a look, we only have about 4 minutes on the clock, and I know the top speed of the St. Louis, and I know it's not going to be able to reach the enemy's base in time. So I tell the destroyer that he needs to cap. Obviously, he's going and taking out their aircraft carriers first, which is smart. And so my plan again is to play rearguard action for our battleship. Try and take the attention away from him, because he's got the bigger guns. And I'm going to try and engage their battleship. So my plan is just to steam straight towards him, and then cut right or left. Yeah, I do. I cut right to try and get a broadside on him. And I'm going to try and harass him from the rear, while our battleship takes him from the front. Now, my big mistake here is forgetting about their last destroyer. Now, I assume their destroyer probably went back to defend their aircraft carriers, but that's just not the case, as you're about to see. Again, a little bit more mini-map awareness on my part probably would have been good. As you see, their battleship is about to cross into my range of fire. He's being smart, though. He's trying to keep outside of it. And luckily for me, his eyes are totally fixed on our battleship. He is tunnel visioning hard for our battleship. And there we go. He comes into range, so I loose off a few salvos at him. And like I said, I'm just going to try and take the attention away from our battleship. And this is the point where I forget about the enemy destroyer, as some torpedoes flash past me. And then I just go ahead and ignore the destroyer on the minimap and continue firing at the battleship. Really, after seeing that salvo, I should have switched my attention to the enemy destroyer, because once you start hearing that warning noise, if the torpedoes are on target, it's too late. It's game over. And as you see, he's getting really, really close now. I straightened myself up, but it's just going to be too little too late. I see them coming, and I know I'm dead. There's nothing I can do about it. I try and have a shot at him, but I get hit by 3 torpedoes, and that just takes me out. Like I said, really should have paid attention to what was going on, rather than just trying to tunnel vision on their battleship. As you see, we have a battleship left and a destroyer. They have a battleship and a destroyer. Our battleship's a little bit worse for wear. As you can see, the enemy is just pounding him, but our destroyer is doing a good job in the cap circle, taking on the aeroplanes from the carriers that are no longer there. So even if those guys don't get shot down, they would have to ditch into the water anyway. And we're just going to watch this battle play out. As you can see, he is also tunnel visioning on the battleship. Because let's face it, if you miss a salvo with a battleship and it's a 30-second reload, if you miss a salvo on a destroyer, it's a lot worse than if you miss a salvo with a cruiser. And this guy's just going to stubbornly refuse to pay attention to the torpedoes, and that is going to be all she wrote for him. He goes down, but we do still have a destroyer, and that's 3/4 almost of the base capture done. As you see, their destroyer thinks he's going to be able to get back in time to defend the base. But as you can see, the distance that he is away and how much we have on the cap clock, that's probably not going to happen. Our destroyer does the smart thing and lets off his torpedoes at the gap between the islands, so that if the enemy destroyer does come through there, he's going to take torpedoes to the face and probably go down. And he lets off his smoke screen as well. So I think you can guess what this means. Him being hidden in the smoke. There's no way the enemy's going to get back here in time to defend. And that is the victory. So it was a pretty good game. A little bit slow in places, but nice bits of action, I thought. And I didn't do too badly. Obviously, it's only tier 3, so the score isn't fantastically large. But I think 2,000 XP isn't too bad for what I did. Now, I thought I'd done really, really well there, but if you look at our team, quite a few, like the top 4 of us had all had pretty good games. Like that destroyer who capped in the end there had an absolutely monster game. But still, I think 4th place in a tier 3 ship and a tier 5 battle isn't too shabby at all. So, thank you very much for watching, everybody. Hope you enjoyed this World of Warships video. If you did, think about hitting that subscribe button, because there's going to be a lot more World of Warships content to come.